I've finally done it! I found a way to upload my consciousness into the database of Magic Online. No longer will I be bound by human error. I'll be the world's greatest artificially enhanced commander player. Initiating upload. Upload complete. I am now part man, part machine, all magic. My win rate is projected to be, what is this? An invoice? A receipt for the hosting costs of uploading my consciousness? The cost is £4.6 billion. This will ruin me. I am destitute. I can no longer afford fetch lands. The plan has failed. Recalculating. Activating plan B. If I am too poor to play Magic, I will make it so that no one else can play Magic either with an Ultron Stax list. You're sitting down for a casual game of Commander and someone drops an original duel turn 1, you know that your deck's budget is probably not up to scratch. But don't worry, I've got you covered with an ultra budget Ultron Artificial Malevolence deck that can go toe to toe with those decks. In fact, this whole deck costs less than a Friday night takeaway. You're hearing me correctly, it costs less than €20. That's less than a collector booster. And in some cases, it's less than the sleeves that the deck will actually be put in. But if you do have a little bit of extra cash burning a hole in your pocket, I have included some upgrades for you at the end of this video as well, so do stick around for that. But why don't we get straight into it and look at our commander, Ultron, Artificial Malevolence. Ultron is a 2/4 robot villain for just 3 generic mana. He's got an ability that reads, whenever another non-token artifact you control enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 generic. If you do, create a token that's a copy of it. If that token isn't a creature, it becomes a 2/2 robot villain creature in addition to its other types. It's almost like they designed this card to turn literal garbage into an army. So the game plan is simple. We're going to play a whole bunch of really cheap artifacts, pay the 2 mana, and double up on their effects. Now the thing is, when we've got this magic budget discrepancy between ourselves and our opponents, well, we're going to need to slow them down. So let's talk about how we do that. Even something as simple as Golden Egg goes from a one-time card draw and a bit of life to drawing 2 cards and gaining 6 life and leaving behind a 2/2 body once you factor in that copy. And thanks to all of our cost reducers that we'll get to later on, you'll be getting that value incredibly cheaply. That's why we're packing the list with even more cheap, replaceable cantrip artifacts like Alchemist File, Guild Globe, Lembas, Prophetic Prism, and Sleeper Dart. Each one replaces itself in our hand, and when they're copied, any extra effects trigger twice. This is the kind of efficiency that Ultron would absolutely approve of. To get this engine going, we need mana, and we need lots of it. We've got the essentials like Soul Ring and Mind Stone, but when you cast a worn Power Stone or a Hedron Archive and copy it, you're aggressively compounding that mana advantage. We've just got to make sure that we've got our cost reducers out as well, like Foundry Inspector, Joyra's Familiar, and Ugin the Ineffable, who all make our artifacts cheaper, meaning we always have that 2 generic mana spare to pay for Ultron's trigger. The real fun though comes from Stax effects. You see, when Ultron copies them, those punishing effects stack. Cards like Lodestone Golem suddenly make every non-artifact spell cost 2 more. Throw in God Pharaoh's statue and Feroz's ban, and suddenly your opponents are paying 4 extra mana just to cast a spell. Make 2 statues, and your opponents will question why they ever sat down across from you. Spells like Damping Sphere and Damping Engine bring Storm and token decks to a miserable, grinding halt. Whether it's punishing them for tapping out or stopping their army in its tracks, they are going to feel the squeeze. And finally, a real fan favourite, Khan the Great Creator. At just 4 mana, he completely shuts off our opponent's artifacts, adding another layer of misery to an already locked down board. Now, these effects are going to bring quite a lot of heat to us at the table, so we do need some ways to protect ourselves from the oncoming storm. Icy Manipulator, Relic Barrier are all stars here, letting us tap down their biggest threats. We've got Boarded Window and Thunderstaff to shrink incoming damage, while Dragon Mask lets us bounce our own artifacts back to our hand so that we can replay them and trigger Ultron all over again. We've even got some spot removal with Meteor Golem, Null Elemental Blast, and Warping Whale,
giving us interaction when we absolutely need to blow up a problem or exile a sorcery. Right, so we're building a massive 2-2 army of robots that also have Stax effects. Well, it would be rude not to give them just a little bit of a buff. Chief of the Foundry and Steel Overseer form our mechanical vanguard, buffing our robots. We've even got Warhorn, which gives attacking creatures we control +1/+0. Double it up, and everything gets +2. Backing that up is It That Heralds the End, which gives an additional buff to our board. And last but not least for this budget build, the lands. Now, regular viewers will know that I don't usually talk about lands too much, but when it comes to a colourless deck, well, they're pretty important because we don't really have any basics and we're not running any wastes. So let's have a look at some of the cards that we do have. We're running a suite of utility lands like Encroaching Wastes, Quicksand, and Unstable Frontier. They come in untapped and they give us minor advantages when we need them. But the MVP here is Tomb of the Spirit Dragon. It is our perfect, in case of emergency, break glass card, gaining us massive amounts of life based on our army of colourless robots when we absolutely need to stay in the game. So there you go, a whole commander deck for less than €20. But the thing is, sometimes when you take an ultra budget deck to your local game shop, you do just end up gaining even more losses. So if you've got cash to burn and you want to spend it on this deck, well, I've got a few upgrades for you. Now we're sticking with the same philosophy. We're going to shut down everyone's game so that we can soar ahead of our opponents. Now, while you may have your own favorite cards that you want to add to this list, sometimes it's nice to get a little bit of help. And that's why I rely on this video's sponsor, Card Mystic, the smart Magic the Gathering search engine. By searching for colourless artifact cost reducers or specific Stax effects, I'm given a whole list of excellent choices. Once I've found one that I love, I can always hit the similar card button to find others just like it. Thanks to Card Mystic for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the build. Roaming Throne is an absolute must-have. Name Robot and suddenly Ultron is triggering twice for every artifact you play. What's not to love? Krark Clan Ironworks is a fantastic sacrifice outlet for us to add to the list, letting us throw away our useless token copies into the furnace and generate mana to cast more spells and trigger Ultron all over again. Speaking of advantage, we're in colourless after all, and with a little extra cash, we can finally take advantage of the format's finest tools. Mystic Forge and Unwinding Clock slot in perfectly, letting us cast artifacts straight from the top of our deck and then untap them all during every single opponent's turn. Our Stax package also gets an upgrade. Trinosphere and Sphere of Resistance dive in to make sure nobody gets to play Magic today. Want to be extra cruel? Add a Smokestacks or Tangle Wire and you'll really see the table slow down. Just remember, these also affect you, so plan your mana accordingly. And there we have it. Whether you're going to be playing the ultra budget list or with a few upgrades, you're bound to have a great time, even if your opponents won't. But hey, lean into that artificial malevolence. Why not? Ultron would be pleased. Now, if you like this video, do hit like and hit subscribe if you want to see even more like it. Let me know in the comments what commanders you want to see me build next, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.